Welcome back, everybody, and I'm pleased to be joined by TheOddOne and Dyrus from now first place TSM. First off, congratulations. And did you guys expect to do so well in Super Week 5-0?
I was pretty confident coming into Super Week, but when we got here, I was like, before we won the first game, I was like, I'm kind of shady. I just realized that I kind of hyped it up and been like, we're just going to get second place for sure. But then we ended up getting first, so I'm pretty okay with that.
Do you have anything to add?
I think, yeah. I mean, I knew they were going to be tough games, but what really surprised me, like, I thought we were going to be battling for second place, not first. And then, like, every team started collapsing, and suddenly we're first.
So why do you think that was? Why do you think you guys were able to persevere through all the upsets that were happening to the other teams? And why did the other teams get upset?
I don't know. Like, we have a lot of experience with this. We know what it's like to fail near the end, like at Worlds, unfortunately. But now we're just trying to maintain our momentum throughout the season, even at the end. I assume there's like drama or issues surrounding the other teams. Like Dig, Crumbs had some issue with his family or something. I'm not sure what happened, but that sort of hurt them really badly, unfortunately. And then there's some curse stuff, and yeah, basically that's it.
I'd like to add that our communication got a lot better, although there's a little bit of bumps, like against the first game against Marn, but our communication got a lot better. And one of the reasons for me alone was I lowered my volume from 80% to like 10%. And well, this week I brought a pillow. I also brought flip-flops, so I feel very, very comfortable where I am, even though that last game was a little rocky for me.
Is that a situation for you guys, being comfortable in the LCS studio? Because I know you guys have a setup at home that also tries to simulate this. Is that something you guys have had trouble with in the past?
We were trying to get used to it. Like, or initially, like, we had to get used to Wild Turtle, but yeah, so once Dyrus gets relaxed and everything gets relaxed, it's really easy to just play here because we have a perfect LAN set up and we're used to communicating now more with each other. So now that the trial period with Turtle's gone, it's like really easy to do calls, how bot lane has its own world for a little bit, then maybe call the jungle down or mid down. It's really smooth right now.
I mean, let's talk about Wild Turtle too, because we do this every time, but he was the main roster change when you guys started having huge amounts of success. Why has it been so good having Wild Turtle?
There are a lot of things, actually. Well, first of all, like, the leading voice changed. It was between Chaox and Reggie, and sometimes they would both make calls, and we'd kind of be, like, heartbroken and stuck in between them. Wild Turtle brings a different pool to, you know, our team, like Draven and such, and people don't expect that. People don't expect how strong Draven could be. Another factor would be that we only listen to Reggie now, and what Wild Turtle did that added the aggressiveness to our team was that there was a first scrim or second scrim where he's like, can we just push mid? And it's like, wow, pushing mid? We've never done this before. We usually just go back and farm. So we applied pressure on the map a lot more than we usually would. And we have more clear sight of our objective, get wards before, you know, we want to go to Dragon. Should we do Dragon? Should we push mid? And all these little things. But in our last game for communication, it was a little rocky on the first Dragon, but we did okay.
Well, awesome stuff. And I have another question here for you. You guys have been a team for so long. You're one of the longest standing North American teams. And you talked about the almost failure you guys had at last year's Season 2 World Championships. What's the biggest change in your team from then to now?
I guess now we do much more prepping for the enemy teams. LCS makes it easy because everyone has televised games. There's not like months in between the next game. Like, you have very little like up-to-date footage. Like with LCS, every week you're updated with what they're playing, what they're doing. So it's really fast. So it's mostly more prepping because Season 2 is like harder to get any info on the Chinese, Korean teams, but now there's like way more footage out there. So hopefully we'll be able to use that against the international teams soon.
Well, thank you very much, TheOddOne and Dyrus. I have to congratulate you once again on the crazy run you guys put up in Super Week. First place in the North American LCS regular season spring split, and there is still plenty more to come. We've had upsets all day, crazy up and downs, but for now, we're going to check out some of the plays on the Telestrator.
All right, thank you, Jat. We've had so many crazy games today coming down to the wire. So today's topic is going to be late game decision making. First up, we have GGU versus CLG. This is already 27 minutes in. We can see GGU grouping up around Baron here, and Hotshot doing his hotshot thing, split pushing down bottom. He makes the decision here to go for this inhibitor turret, even though he has teleport up. He doesn't want to join his team. He just wants his team to poke at GGU, stall them out around Baron, and hopefully they can just get a free inhibitor turret. That's not exactly how it's going to play out, though. Let's roll this at double speed so we can actually get to some of the action. They're just going to try and poke back and forth here. CLG just trying to waste time. And then finally, right here, pause it. We just had CLG go with an engage. Hotshot still at the bottom here. He's got his teleport ready, but he just decides he wants to finish off that turret. That's their late game decision, and that's what they're going to have to live with here. Chaucer had a great initiate. Flag toss knock up. They got a shockwave off after that so he can cataclysm on top of it. Jinte and Nintendude both get melted by this, but because they have Yorick ultimate, they can actually put that on Jinte, and it's not going to be too bad. Their numbers are still good in this. GGU 5 versus 4 CLG members going to come out ahead. Let's roll the rest of this clip out, and we can see they get the first initial 2 kills, but Hotshot not being there does really hurt them. CLG eventually crumble here. You can see Don't Match Me going in. He actually takes a lot of burst from Link right there, and because of that, Link tries to go back and finish him off, but that's going to be his death as well. Zion gets that one. Eventually, Afromu, not one to let a kill get away, goes and evens it up for a 3-3 trade, and they end up getting that inhibitor turret, but that's all they really got out of it. If we go to our second clip, we can see what you could get out of one of these decisions. Dignitas, again, all grouped up. They're doing Baron. This is late game, same situation. Malphite down bottom, split pushing. His teleport's up. The difference here is that they're going to wait for Malphite to teleport up, join the rest of his team, so it's going to be 5-on-5 instead of the 5-on-4. Let's see how this one rolls out. Just full speed, we can play this one through. Smithy, he gets knocked back, but here comes the teleport from Malphite. It's going to come in on this ward down here. They wait for him to come initiate. As soon as he gets there, Unstoppable Force is going to go off on Crumbs, takes so much damage, they get an instant kill, and they can push the pressure from here because they have their entire team. They actually get Smithy really low here, and there's going to be a good crescendo, but he's able to back out after that because Bloodwire did come in with that crescendo, saved his life. Now Vulcan, not only do they come out with 3 kills for none, but they also get the Baron. So you can see the difference between one of these small little decisions in the late game. It can mean a huge difference. With that said, we're going to send it back to these guys at the desk.
Hey, well, thanks very much, Kobe. We've got 2 matches left in the spring split, so let's check out the standings. Team Solamid will be the #1 seed in the spring playoffs after going 5-0 this week. That means Curse is locked in as the 2nd seed and will also receive a first-round bye next week. Even with their loss, Dignitas finishes 3rd in the NALCS spring split, while CLG is locked in at 4th. Vulcan is in control of their own destiny, beat Curse in the last match of the night, and they take 5th. Lose, and they drop to 6th because GGU leads the series against them 3-1, which means GGU would take 5th. Now, finally, is the 7th and 8th place race. That will be decided in our very next match, Complexity versus Marn. So there's still 2 matches to go, but first, it's the battle for 7th when Complexity takes on Marn. And then finally, the 8th match of the day is when Vulcan tries to lock down 5th when they take on Curse. Super Week continues right after this break. Good job, Jack. I love you.
Welcome back, everyone, to an epic Week 10 of the NALCS. It's time for our 7th match of the day, Complexity versus Marn. And even though both of these teams have been eliminated from the Spring Championships, this will make a big difference in who they play during the Summer Promotion Tournament. Coming into this match, Marn has the upper hand in the season series. They've beaten Complexity in 2 of their 3 matches.
Yeah, and they've really just had control the whole time. It was a back and forth that went 55 minutes. Marn's bottom lane, they've really performed well in this matchup specifically. Heartbeat, he's taken to that support role really quickly. I feel like that was a very good switch for them, going 2-3-27 in those 2 wins. Nian Tanso also having a very strong performance. He went 17-3-9. And Marn, they've really focused on Nick Wu. They banned out Zed 3 times in a row. It's pretty much the same story on the flip side for Complexity. They focus Mega Zero, take out his Renekton. So they feel like those are the 2 main champions for those players. But with Nick Wu branching out, they might not do that anymore.
It's getting harder. Teams are adapting. We've seen that this week. And this is the last time the Smith brothers, will face off this season. And for both teams, it's less about friendship and more about locking down a win.
I always like playing against Complexity. It's actually like a much easier going match because, you know, me versus my brother.
Yeah, I think that the sibling rivalry has really died out. It's not really talked about as much. It's just 2 teams now.
It's just another team to me, so I just really want to beat them.
The last time we played was another early game success story, late game failure. This last week we've really prepared for our late game more. So hopefully if we keep our early game success up, then late game should be a breeze.
They've always been our rivals, so we have to really step up to them and show them who's better.
All right, now that we've heard what the teams have to say, it's time to take a look at the lineups. On the blue side, it's Complexity. Nick Wu in the top lane, Loudamortis in the jungle, Probably in mid, Brunch U at AD, and MIA at support.
And on the red side, it's Marn. Mega Zero is up top. Claky D is their jungler. Echo is on mid. Nian Tanso's on AD, and Heartbeat is supporting.
And it's real to say that these guys do focus out the top laners and some of the mids. The Aurelia has even been banned out from Mega Zeros. He's been picking that lately because he's been forced onto it. The Renekton, the Malphite, everything's banned out, as we've been saying. Rumble hasn't been seen as much lately. Maybe the change to the Equalizer is turning people off to that, but it's still an end game equalizer for these teams. So we may have to see it come out if those focus bans happen again.
It has been, and we said, you know, Nick Wu's been branching out, but so has Mega Zero. His Malphite, like I said, that late game impact is so huge with that guy. Nick Wu, though, he did his part. You saw on that Darius play, getting all the resets. He said his focus in top lane is about winning his 1v1. He pays a little bit less attention to how it will impact the team, but if he's able to just win his lane so hard, then he automatically benefits the rest of his team. He can roam around, and he really brings his presence to the rest of the map.
And speaking of roaming and presence, Twisted Fate is going to be a contested one for Marn in this. We haven't seen Probably play it. Then again, we hear Probably goes, you know, kind of off the hinge on those champions and tries to play things people won't understand how to mitigate just yet because it's not in the scene. So with that, Echo maybe looking for that. They have been first pick in, I believe, week 6 when they played against Complexity coming into this. So see if they go for it again.
He's also been a big fan of that Gragas lately, too.
Absolutely. You probably see a ban there.
You can't really ban out Probably. He's when we say people have big champion pools, it's kind of like
these guys have
everybody,
like an
and then there's
end.
Probably up here, and you're just like, that's just gigantic. That's
Heartbeat stretching it out. Looking to get some of these picks and bans in. We do see Renekton, so the first one focused at Mega Zero. Kha'Zix coming out as well. Echo actually, I believe, pulled out a Kha'Zix for a matchup versus Complexities as well in week 7. Or actually, no, it was just week 8.
And Complexity actually used Kha'Zix both up in top lane with Nick Wu and in the mid lane with Probably. So that's a 2-hitter right there. It looks like they're sticking to their guns here. Both top laners still receiving both bans here. They're taking out that Malphite that we just saw from Mega Zero along with his Renekton. The third one probably will be that Aurelia that we're talking about unless they change it and go for Jarvan.
See if the TF stays up. We also have, nope, Zed has been banned. What can they pick for this?
So Nick Wu, he actually has a good number of champions
Jace
left.
Is still
he
there.
can still do the Jace and the Shen. Shen actually very important in this super week so far.
One global or the other.
Exactly. So the Shen's still up there.
So much is left open.
The Loudamortis, like his go-to jungler now is the Mumu, which automatically makes him one of my favorite junglers. The Shen still on the board here, and they go with Thresh.
So much is left open. All these high priority picks that have seen bans in Super Week. TF looked over, Nidalee looked over can be an echo play there. Lux looked over, not really getting the bans, but Twisted Fate, again, a first pick for Mega Zero and the team.
The thing is, when you do your focus bans on a player and you try and ban out that player, what ends up happening is both teams left open a lot of these very just generally strong champions that everyone considers, you know, OP or something. The first 3 picks, very highly contested, and a lot of tournament play here. Dual globals coming in for Marn, so they instantly just have immense level 6 pressure.
It's coming into picks and bans. Obviously, you're going to pretty much know what you can play, what your champions are. But we've seen, you know, TSM in an MLG kind of forget that there are champions to play. You think picks and bans going so crazily lately can put a team under stress, and they'd be like, what do we pick? This is kind of not what we wanted.
Yeah, especially when they do focus on one person. It gives you so many more options. Sometimes when you get too many options, it's a little overwhelming, and they're not sure which strategy to go with. But this is
true.
This is a
the
very
other end of the spectrum.
Important game that we have talked about. The Jace, it looks like that is probably going to be a Nick Wu character. The thing is though, Prolly, he plays like all the characters Nick Wu is known for. So Complexity can do this thing where they pick one of Nick's classic characters, and then they fake you out and they send it to Prolly in middle.
Brand has been burning a few people lately, but has not been chosen. And again, he will see a skip this time. The Twitch and Sona to come in from Niantanso and Heartbeat this game.
Sona crescendos seem to be the hot topic on the internet.
Flash
there.
crescendos.
If you make a really good one, then everyone just raise you on their shoulders. You're the champion of the day. If you miss one, then they will just burn you alive.
One of the most bittersweet abilities in League of Legends.
Yes. Oh, man. The Nasus, definitely seeing a lot of him here. And that does fit Latimore's playstyle on the jungle, because Latimore's has always got a really strong focus on jungle objectives. He's one of the ones that will time that dragon down to the second, wants to get every single one, and Nasus is a perfect champion for him to do that. His early game ganks, though, are going to suffer from that one because there isn't the hard CC, and he's just got the slow from Wither.
Now, as we wait for this pick coming in, Shen not so much of a fighter. Do you think we could see Mega Zero still picking up that Aurelia?
Yes, plus the Shen could go in the jungle because Claky D has done jungle Shen.
Exactly.
So there are those 2 options open for Marn too. So the Gragas is going to be finally locked in. That's going to be Prolly. And we still have to see, is Claky going to take that Shen away for the jungle and play with his very passive jungle style where he waits till level 6 and then just does a counter gank? And
he still has his Riven.
Okay, that's exactly.
We totally forgot about Riven.
That's exactly what's going to happen. The thing is, when you have a jungle Shen too, it lets Mega Zero be even more aggressive on his Riven, because as soon as you have that level 6 Shen in your jungle, you always have a buddy. It's the buddy system here. He's never going to be alone. He's always going to have
jumping in.
Claky on his back.
And this actually is going to be the 3rd time we've seen since people have been trying to take it away from Prolly, his Gragas. I guess he feels it's comfortable. And really the ultimate, if you think, like we said, just a few seconds ago, how Prolly plays against people who aren't going to understand it because they haven't seen it. You can't really do much against a Gragas ult. It's going to throw you in any direction. You can't do much about that anyway. So you still get that.
He opens up a lot of options because he can shove the lane very quickly. And so that's a really good answer to TF, because TF's main thing is he has the wild cards that he throws at, so he can shove it, get his mana back with the blue card, and then teleport to another lane. Gragas, very similar because he's got the AoE casks, he can clear lanes, and then probably also going to be running teleport. So he's trying to just match Echo's global presence there.
So we see a pretty heavy poke composition coming from Complexity to start off the game. Up against Marn, loves to fight, loves to get in your face. They show that composition, like you said, the buddy system on Riven and Shen. Where are we looking for an early game focus from these teams?
The early game, I'm always looking at Mega Zero because he builds very early game. We saw him with a 3 Doran's Blade on that Riven. That's really just putting all your eggs over here, and you're like, early game, I'm going to win this. I'm winning my lane. I'm not going to look bad. I'm not going to be on any of these YouTube clips where we get soloed by Voyboy or something. And he definitely wants, he definitely builds for that early game. So I always kind of have to focus him, especially on Riven, who's an aggressive champion.
All right, a long day it is, but Game 7 as we near our last few games of Super Week. Thank you for staying with us all day. We've got some awesome stream numbers, so high five to everyone at home for hanging out, and also in EU for staying up. It has to be so late, but we have EU right after this as well, so it's going to be amazing League of Legends all week long. Complexity versus Marn for your 7th game of the day here. Riv and Kobe to bring it to you. LCS live from Los Angeles. We are on to the Rift, and we see the wards already being placed out as Complexity looks to send aggression to the top side.
Yeah. Complexity started out with their classic 3 red elixirs. MIA, a huge fan of getting that on any support. Thresh is a really good one to have it. So they've, again, gone with the bottom lane, double red elixirs. Their invade is a little bit slow here and a little bit predictable. Marn have done their homework. They predicted this, and it's going to be a clash.
Oh my gosh, we've seen this before. What's going to happen? The red elixirs are getting popped on both sides. Probably very low. The first blood actually going to Neotanso. He gets a double kill to start the game. MegaZero flashes out perfectly. They won't be able to finalize any more kills, but a huge start for Marn.
Okay, let's sift through the bodies here and see what happened in all that carnage. MegaZero barely got out with that. He was 10 HP. They were rewarded with 2 kills plus the first blood. Shen is amazing in level 1 engages. Because of that taunt, he can get CC on multiple people. He did it right there, not even waiting for them to get to the edge of the bush. Plus all the red elixirs, except for Nick Woo's, were used in that engage. So those are going to be ticking down very early game. And as for summoners, we've got only the Ghost off of Loud and Mortis and the Flash off of MIA for Complexity's side. Meanwhile, MegaZero used all of his weapons. Not going to be Flash for him. And since he is going into a long lane, 1 versus 1 with Prawley, he'll have to play a little bit more conservative and place a few more wards.
See as they make it up. Looks like they swap to the top. Loud Mortis is going to get a lot of help from MIA there on the blue. He may go just down to that. Jace is going to be mid as Nick Wu is going to be facing off against Echo here.
And this is actually kind of a mind game here because usually you expect blue side to leave their AD and support down by those double golems.
Yeah.
There's not much of a reason for it because of that level 1 fight. There was no time for double golems. So it looks like there's going to be a weak dragon presence from both teams, which kind of benefits Complexity since they have that Nasus, and MegaZero is not going to play conservative. He doesn't care if he has no flash. He's going straight to Prawley.
It's a battle bunny for a reason, and you better watch out. Not looking to party with Prawley right now. Prawley backed off, isn't really within. He is getting back into experience range, but MegaZero has the lead on that. Probably just hits 2, and you can see MegaZero just being so fierce.
Baiting him in for the Nasus gank. He does pay for the no vision wards, and there's no flash. Will he be able to get away?
He's got those cooldowns. He finally gets that first gap closer up. He uses it to get away, stays safe.
So he's okay. Riven, a very mobile champion. So many. You get 3 Qs. Oh, so much action on top. They're going for
one more shot. He does get it in after the flash. Brunshu picking up 1 for himself. The expunge isn't going to be enough, but Ianazo knows it's going to be 1 more shot. He's going to get some turret help. He throws on the barrier. MIA stays without outside turret range.
MIA also has Shen incoming here. He has to be very careful. Claky goes for the taunt.
Claky has the flash, but he has the taunt within range without doing so. They pick up a kill. It's an assist for Neotanso, so that makes Claky pretty good in the jungle at 1-0-2.
Yep, and Loud and Mortis down bottom trying to answer, but MegaZero's getting out of this one, gets away from the barrel.
The 2v1, and he's going to turn it around. 1 more shot. Loud and Mortis even stays there. He wasn't trying to kite it out. Probably's going to go down here. They're double buff to MegaZero. Probably knows he can't fight this. The Drunken Rage is on, but it's not enough. Oh, it does mitigate the last bit of damage. Body Slam comes up just in time.
I don't need my flash, my ignite. I've got a red elixir. MegaZero, there's a reason people were banning out Riven first. He's so aggressive, and he plays without a ward because he can do just that. He could turn around a 2 versus 1 gank. That's one of the things that I was talking about early in the season when I'm talking about being scared of ganking like Darius or Rumble lanes. They've got all this AoE damage when they do have the elixirs that you have to be careful of dying yourself. Loud and Mortis just got a taste of that from Mega.
And I can't say that they forgot
Echo in the middle,
banning it.
Oh
my gosh, Nick Wu going on to Echo. Goes back, Knight is on, so he wastes that. Not going to be able to go all in on this next time unless it's played very falsely by Echo. Looks like he's going to get out there. And I was going to say, it's not like MegaZero's been playing Riven the whole time. He's made an impact with it the last few weeks, and they should have remembered that. They haven't banned it in the last times they've played. Like I said, it's been the Aurelia. We even forgot to talk about it in Champ Select. It was the last pick, and they've used it to counter the composition entirely.
And he has, again, gone with that early game build. Just goes back to get 2 Doran's blades. He's got that double buff, so he's feeling fine. Complexity, in response to MegaZero's aggression, have switched it up, and they sent their AD and support down there to try and contain him.
See what they can do about it. He's going to have a few minutes to get himself back with these, or not back, but still work with these buffs that he has. The double buff from his double gank gone awry for Complexity. Like you said, it's going to be Brunchy in that bottom lane now. He did pick up a kill before, and they have actually come back with pink wards. So those were for the top lane. They're going to hold on to those since they're not against Niantanso anymore. As Complexity starts to push, like you said, going to start giving Mega Zero a hard time.
Yeah, they sent MIA down here to try and keep him in the bunny cage, but you have to remember, since Claykey started out so well, he's going to have that Stand United before the ult from Thresh is even up. It could spell more problems for this bottom lane.
Yeah.
Mega Zero, as soon as Claykey